From the far reaches of space to the darkest places on Earth, join us as we explore the haunted, the cryptid, the creepy, and more. Exposing Reality Radio presents the Spectral Wolfpack Show, your paranormal nightmare, with your host, Alexander Bobolinsky.
What is up, Wolfpack? I'm here. A little bit sick, I think. Possibly the flu. I don't know. I have the body aches and all that stuff going on. But it's cool. I wanted to do this anyway because I've been excited for this show all week. Let's see what else has been going on. I hope everyone had a great holiday season and Merry Christmas and everything like that. I hope everyone got some awesome presents. I know I did. And, see, what was my favorite present? I don't know. There's a lot to choose from. Brittany got me some really cool yak bone stuff and this really old ring. It's like 500 years old. So, definitely got some really interesting gifts. And you guys know that I love weird collectibles like that and everything. Also, I got my Jay's box from Jay Prather, IDC devices. And we did some experiments with that on live stream the other night, and it definitely got weird. We were actually using the mirror that we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about a variety of mirrors. So our guest tonight, Jason Emerick, is a medium and paranormal investigator for Ohio-based team Paranormal Den. He also has been crafting these black scrying mirrors under his new company, Dark Scrys. And I've always known Jason to have a very strong connection to the spirit realm. And tonight we will be diving into some of the experiences people have been having once they received their black mirrors from him, myself included. So let's bring him on in. Jason, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, dude? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. Good.
Been
You have a good Christmas?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. Me and Brittany and her kid just hung out the whole time and played PlayStation and everything. How was yours?
Yeah, the kids are all over the place.
Yeah.
It's insane, just like every year, and the holidays just completely drain you and drag by, man.
Oh my God, yeah. I was like, I think that's probably why I got sick, was just because of all the stress and everything and getting everything together. And then it finally all came together. And
yep, everybody was happy.
Yeah. So man, I'm excited to talk about the Dark Scrys mirrors tonight. What exactly, like, when you started making these, like, how did it come to you, like, to make these? Like, what exactly happened that made you want to make these?
Honestly, I was looking for just a small, like, way to support the group, really. You know what I mean? It wasn't me like, oh, yeah, I know I'm going to be able to make a mirror and shit's going to happen and people are going to experience something. I not once ever thought that. I didn't know until after I made them, because in my home, like, nothing really goes on when they're here, but when they're here, now I know this, they're absorbing the energy that I'm walking around with, the kids are walking around with, what the home has, the emotions, the moods, everything. So, like, I really didn't know, and honestly, I would have laughed 3-4 years ago at what I'm doing now. As far as the spark, Philip Wyatt and the ITC collaboration was showing me his that he had made, told me how to make it, and I was talking to Terry. I was like, nobody else makes that shit. So I mean, it kind of like just kind of went, and I started making them, and yeah, man, it was more real and based. It's ITC based too, so it was kind of down my alley, so it was really sweet.
Yeah, I love what you've done with them, and I think, like, like you said the other day, I think you, in that voice to text where you were sending me, like how you said that it's similar to, a voodoo priest crafting a voodoo doll, different, like, just people putting that energy into these objects, and this is no different because, I mean, you put a lot into them. I mean, we've seen, you show us the process and everything.
I mean, you've been in my home, not everybody knows it's not that I'm promoting because I don't let people in my home. There's only like a select few, I'm very wary, I before and prior to anybody that's, into the paranormal or wants to investigate, I let them know prior to walking or stepping foot in my home, look, I have haunted objects. I have 5 to 20 energies in my home frequently. Sometimes it's just one, but when it's just one, it's really, really strong, and most of the time it's pretty dark. So all of that, if I'm happy when I'm making the mirror and I'm just zoning out, just building something, typically the mirror is just there taking on some energy. But when if I have even my subconscious throwing thoughts of anger or somebody just walking by, anything can be absorbed in that mirror, and I found that out just by the voice of friends and taking mirrors out of the house and subjecting them to like different environments and shit, and it's crazy how much it is, because when you go into something, it doesn't matter if it's me building a mirror or you building something, that's your energy forever. That was you 100%. And if you go into it knowing, especially now, when I build mirrors for people, prior, they'll tell me, this is the type of energy I want involved. And I explain totally up front, there is no control behind it. I wish, maybe there is, but I'll tell you right now, I do not know. I had no idea any of the stuff that's going on was even possible, but it is. I mean, I'm not even the one saying it. I have people, actually, in the Netherlands experiencing shit. I've shipped stuff across the Atlantic. It's crazy how involved the spiritual energy is in those and they're all getting my name. They're getting the same spiritual names that are here that we house, you know what I mean? And it's crazy, bro. You know what I mean? They're typically getting stuff that they're familiar with, but it's like an open door straight to my house or straight to me, you know what I mean? And it's wicked. It's wicked.
It's similar to, like when we did that live stream together, it kind of bridges that, or when you did a live stream with the guys at the Monroe House Gateway, it's like bridging that connection. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah. And even then, that's actually the moment we actually learned, I mean, I'm spiritual. I'm in this 100%. I believe that I know that now that I was born to do this. Cause I talk to you every single day. There isn't a day that I don't say, hey, what's up, Alex? You know what I mean? And, but I've told you a couple things over the past week that I just learned about my grandmother, who was a Christian, and I knew her as a Christian, and she told me till the day she died that, it wasn't good, or she was just trying to push on her religion on me. And, I just thought that was my grandma. Well, I find out that prior to, the grandma I knew wasn't really my grandma. She was passing out Ouija boards, doing seances. And I just found this out in the last week. And the odds of me not knowing that and then following her path is wicked and crazy. I got bloodline that's tied to all this, in so many ways, you know what I mean? So it's crazy to me that the experience and the energy that is placed into those mirrors, how it resembles everything that's taking shape in my life. It's crazy.
Yeah. Definitely. Dreama in the chat said that they love their mirrors, and I really liked theirs too. The way you You imbued them with those symbols. I think it was the magic circle symbol, and
those were actually like the fourth ones I made.
Yeah.
And I still, I consider the shit I make awesome, badass now. I mean, not saying that all of them are badass. They're all unique. They all take on their own personality. Especially when you get them home, anything you got going on in your house is going to amplify it. You know what I mean? It's like throwing an EM pump in the environment, and it actually will. I mean, I got video. I mean, me and Terry, we will sit down. There is not one mirror that I have sent out that hasn't been in a seance. We always make sure that, the person's actually capable of handling it prior. They are required to, I think I even gave you the disclosure, and the short disclosure anyways. But yeah, I always make sure that people are aware, and I won't let just anyone have one, just because of what I know now versus what I knew in the beginning as just, hey, I'm just going to make a black mirror. Now I'm tenting them. Now I have Ouija boards, behind them. I see ideas in everything now. I never thought I'd be doing this shit. It's awesome though. I mean, it's one of those steps that kind of validates the whole route my grandmother was in, and her mother, and it's crazy. I've talked to Cheryl, she's in the about it a little bit. I've talked with you, members of my group, but I mean, it was really, really emotional for me this past week learning all that shit, because I've been MIA from Facebook and a lot of different sites. Yeah, I'll look on it and talk to people on Messenger and shit, but I got my hands in so much shit, good shit, that it's hard to voice everything that's going on all the time socially anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm getting into directing and editing and producing, and I'm doing a great job, here at home. But when it comes to everything else, it's just it's all leading to one point where everything's coming together. I'm only I don't even know if I'm going to be doing this whole mirror thing forever. I was talking to Terry about it, and, maybe I'll make one a year or 5 a year. I haven't decided yet, because of, all the other shit I got going on. So, I take items from certain locations and I will crush them down into powder, and put them in the paint. I do anything I can to, if I say that it's a specific mirror tied to a location, there's reasons. It's not just me saying it or me saying I've been there. Although I know for a fact that I can imprint them with it's just like me when you know some of the shit that I've done. Everything. You've watched all my videos, and that not just me, anyone who practices. I wasn't always like this. I'd get my name once in a while, and that's what actually pushed me into it. I was like, damn, I just heard my name over that ghost box. Well, it took time to build my spiritual relationship, but I don't give up. I have an open mind towards everything until it's totally, that's why. It's because I go into the situation believing it rather than looking at it skeptical. Do you see what I'm saying? So I know that they can be imprinted, and it's very powerful. It's once you get to that point, like I'm coming to the realization that there are a lot of things that once you get to a certain point that you start figuring out, that's almost like universal knowledge that we all have locked inside of our minds, Mm-hmm. So it's awesome, to learn this about myself, to know that somebody wants a mirror and they want an evil mirror. You know what I mean? Somebody dark's like, yeah, I want the most evil mirror you got. Yeah. I'll go out to my workshop and I will imprint them with everything negative I've ever experienced in my life. For instance, David Miller, he's awesome. He's like my brother. He's done a lot for my group. He's supported us from for a long time. Him along with a couple others are obviously skeptical of entities and stuff like that. Well, knowing that prior, I made sure that whatever was here in our home, the Monroe House entities and all that stuff were still in our home from that investigation. That's when we learned that the mirrors were no joke. I pushed it all in. All that energy went to that mirror, and I had the video showing it. They're saying we're all going to go. You know what I mean? All kinds of crazy shit, and they went. It wasn't the day after he got it. He messaged me and told me he wanted to send it back. We communicate still to this day about it on occasion. He's got that wrapped up. It wasn't that he didn't believe me. It was just one of those things. Well, yeah, it's just a mirror. You know what I mean? Because if it's nothing until you personally experience it. Yeah, not a thing. You know what I mean? It's not that, demons don't exist or angels, it's not that. It's not real until you experience it. And there is an experience. Some of them are minute. Some people get mirrors, and I make sure, if somebody's looking for a mirror that I can send along, that I know that I did a session with, and I hear my father's voice or somebody that I'm familiar with come through. I know that it's cool. It's just because all of them are doors. You know what I mean? It doesn't. You'll never know. Just like the ghost box or picking up on some EVPs on your recorder. You never know what you're going to get because anything can come through. Those mirrors are the same way. I can't guarantee anything except that it's a doorway. All they see is somebody standing behind an open door, and they're like, oh shit, this is my opportunity to talk or venture on into their home, or you know what I mean? So, but it goes both ways. I have every single mirror that except the one I sent you and the Ouija board one are every single mirror is still out in my house. We have no issues. I have some haunted objects that people outside of my home would start getting sick, and nothing like that happens here, just because it's all under control, you know what I mean? And, when it starts to get a little out of control, like with the mirrors, those are the first objects we've ever housed in our home that I had to get rid of, or not had to. I mean, I had them bound, none of the after I did, I cleansed my home, which we do regularly. I cleansed, I threw salt on them, nothing. We didn't experience anything. The natural spiritual energy in our home was completely gone because of the demonic attachment to those mirrors. And there was absolutely no spiritual energy in our home for like 3 or 4 days. And then all of a sudden it started to come back gradually. Now it's calm. But yeah, man, it's very, very wicked. It's some of the most intense shit that I've actually ever experienced was with that Ouija board mirror, bro.
Yeah. Before we go into that, I wanted to know, what was some of the stuff that Dave was experiencing at his house?
Well, I guess he had some the worst nightmares since he's been a kid. He was telling me that, it's more in depth, it was more of a personal conversation, but I went and sent him a screenshot of a picture I took of his mirror prior to sending it, and there's this real tall, skinny, white looking like being. I sent it to you too. I think you've seen it as well, but he communicated that it just validated exactly what he was experiencing, because he knew. It was even telling him the same demonic entity that's here, that's next door, that floats around. He got Malik coming through on his apps. I mean, that's not coincidence. You know what I mean? It was saying my name. none of it's coincidence. I knew that was going to happen. I didn't make it to give him nightmares, but I did. It was more. And I have 5 mirrors that were all in that same seance still here. You know what I mean? He was like, man, I'm going to, this is when he was still going to send it back. He's like, you know what? Just so you know, this is the most haunted object you probably have. And, no, it's not. I have some I have a mirror that I don't, I don't have it in my home. It's locked up, but it's I've had over like 300 seances in it, more than most places where you go that are extremely haunted, and people did seances in the home. I mean, no, not like we do. I mean, I do seances 2-3 times a week, but that mirror's been on in some of the most haunted locations, and some that most of the people in the chat room's been at. But it's absorbed all that energy. We've summoned demons. We've sent back demons. I don't look at the whole negative and positive thing. It's all about control, because it's all conscious energy and what you do with that energy. And you can set lines in the sand with that energy. And it's once you know that and you work with it, not in every environment. I can't walk into a place I've never been before and be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go in there and think that I'm in control. No, you have to adapt to the energy that's around you. Once you do that and you get a grip on what's going on, and you set rules for your guide, for your energy, you can do anything. I know that because I do it all the time. They're like, some people are like, yeah, you're haunted. Well, it's not that. I'm like a little nuke going into a location for all the energy there. It's crazy, man. I do 5-10 minute sessions, and I get stuff that it takes months for people to get. I walk around without a ghost box, and it's like the ghost box is on. That's how many EVPs are coming through. It's totally different. And it's not me bragging. I have proof. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but it is. It is. It's there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to exploit every bit of that, because it's good, because it's all knowledge. I didn't know any of this shit, when it comes to these mirrors. I was just looking at it like, okay, this will get us to our next location. Let's throw some gas in the tank. You know what I mean? So I'm just looking for support for my group. Little did I know that it was going to turn out the way it did.
Yeah. So I got in the chat here. Leslie said that the mirror that I received, when she watched the video, it gave her chest pains. Have you heard about anyone else experiencing any kind of physical sensations?
Well, I have. Nobody's really expressed those. I mean, unless they're coming to my house, when people, with the mirror I was talking about, that I have locked up, you've been around it. But when people, just like what I was just talking about, when I walk into just a random location that's haunted as hell, I can't immediately, I don't immediately control the energy that's seeping into me and what my energy is doing as far as seeping into that place, but I'll tell you, it's crazy, Here, when people touch the mirror that I have locked up, they get sick to their stomach. When I touch it still, I will touch it and it'll feel like my hand or whatever's touching it, it will start to feel like it's starting to fall asleep. It's almost like a static. It's just building, and it goes from your fingertips, and it just slowly starts working up your arm. I get really sick to my stomach when I'm around anything evil, not just what people consider demons, but evil people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. I just recognized it as time went by, and I'll tell you, there are times when you can recognize that shit, and you feel it. And that mirror does that sometimes. That Ouija board mirror is just insane, bro. That was the most. I mean, I got chased. I literally got chased by the same entity I seen in the basement at the Bel Air house, and I got the demonic entity's name there. I got two within 10 minutes. I got Malik and Valak. Well, I had seen I didn't know at the time until I came back home, edited all the stuff, but that's what I was dealing with. And it wasn't just one time it came through, it was more than once. And I seen a black shadow figure, blacker than the darkness that I was in, you know, and it came up to me, and its physical form was just, you know, whoever it was working out, you know what I mean, at the Bel Air house. Well, I get home, this is a year later, and I'm making mirrors, and we took the Ouija board to a location that I'll discuss here in a little bit. But I didn't know that that location had ties to it either. So I get home with the Ouija board that we had sitting out, along with everything else, for like 3 weeks. Nothing, you know, the same spiritual energy, nothing changed. So we go to this location, we do a seance there, and your mirror was there too. Brought the Ouija board back, built a mirror. All of it was antique. You know, I went and specifically picked out the frame, the glass, everything. I tinted it and then set the board below it. And as soon as I did, within 4 hours, well, it was late. It was probably like 9, 10 o'clock. I went and grabbed something to eat. Me and Terry were going to go downstairs and chill and hang out. And I get down to the bottom of my steps, and I shit you not, man. I look over to my left, and I'm used to seeing shit in my home, okay? Like, I see, you know, it isn't like full on all the time, but I'll see stuff walk by me. I'll get those breezes. I mean, it's the shit we're familiar with, you know. It's, you know, that's what we subject ourselves to. And I remember, I can't even remember what we were eating, but I was walking. I get to the bottom of the steps, and I look to my left, and I see this black shadow figure. I mean, it was completely dark down there, and it chased me, and I literally, I'm like, Terry, like, you know, like already scream like a little kid, you know, little girl, man. I was scared.
Yeah.
And I started running, bro. And, you know, I don't shake that easy. You know, I'll walk in locations by myself without an IR camera. I've done it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. It doesn't, I always feel in control of my own energy. If I let that go, it's gone. You know what I mean? So I don't scare that easily. I do, but not like that. And I'll tell you, you know, Terry would tell you, you know, I was scared to death, bro. And I get over, and I had no idea what was going on, you know, and I had not made the connection between my house and the thing that I see at the Bel Air house. So I get over by where we were going to sit down and hang out, and I immediately, well, it was like within 5 minutes, I would say. I'm starting to calm down. I'm sitting there telling Terry, you know what I felt, and then all of a sudden I feel this big rush of energy. You know, it almost felt like a basketball of just energy just flies right by my legs, bro. Like, well, by my hips, actually, in front of me. And the first thing I say is, Terry, that just felt like, you know, because we have a doll that that has a boy attachment to it, and you know, when you mess with it, sometimes at night it will run around you, and you can feel it. Well, that's how it felt, and it's a boy spirit. So I'm like, Terry, it just felt like a little boy ran right in front of me, and why I said a little boy, I have no idea. And then immediately after I say that, I felt the same static electricity that I feel when I touch the mirror. You know, it's an experience. You don't know when you're being touched. It's not like a touch. You know, I'm not saying you don't or anybody in the chat room doesn't. You know, it's an experience. You know when something's touching you. Well, I felt like I said it too to Terry. I was like, babe, it feels like something, like a snake is wrapping around my legs. Okay, and you know, I got real sick to my stomach. I kind of denied the fact that I was feeling something evil, but I even said it. I was like, hey, I'm getting that same sick to my stomach feeling I get when I'm around something dark. And, you know, things died down. We didn't have any more experiences, but I was freaked the fuck out. I was literally up half the night thinking about it, trying to break it down. Like, what the hell did I experience? Where did it come from? Because I got family. I got kids. I can't have shit in my home. I do, but it's stuff that I know that I can control, and I never went into it thinking that I would never not be able to control anything. I was just kind of prepared in that case. But the next morning, I woke up and I told Terry, I was like, look, I hate to say it, but we got to get rid of that board. We got to get rid of that mirror, or at least do something with it for right now and figure out what we're going to do with it. So she agreed. But this is like first thing in the morning. I dropped the daughter off at school, and I'm like, babe, I didn't want to talk about it around the kids. And I was like, look, we got to figure something out because, I know last night was tied to that. How I know, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just something that's there telling me, hey, get rid of that damn thing. Not that
intuition.
I need to get rid of it because I don't want to sell it. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I have it housed at the location where it was got its attachment right now. But the next morning, before binding it, we decided to do a ghost box session, and we did it, and then I bound it immediately after. You can almost feel the energy starting to change, like from negative to positive. Even though we weren't experiencing anything, it was hard to breathe still. It was real heavy in our home still. So we cleansed it. I went upstairs probably 3 or 4 hours later, and it was a short session. It was probably like maybe, I think it was like 11, 12 minutes or whatever. But anyways, I edited it, and I hear all that shit in that video about Valak and possessing and shit, and then everything that tied this location to other locations, not just the Bel Air house. There were so many bits of knowledge that I learned. Not only did I see the same thing by a furnace at the Bel Air house. Identical. I knew it. It smelled, it felt, it even approached me the same way. There was, Valak, for instance. The night before, I had no idea it was Valak. And I feel, and I voice that I felt a little boy running in front of me. I felt like a snake wrapped around my leg. Well, get this. Well, Valak, he comes in the form of a little boy. Valak, he's riding a serpent. Mm-hmm. I don't know how validating that it can be to experience that, not knowing what you're dealing with, and getting that info, basically from its mouth. You know what I mean? It knew me, as do most. If people aren't familiar with my videos, our videos, my name's said all the time. I'll do a 20-minute session and I'll get my name 10, 15 times. Me and you and Terry were in the morgue that time, and I captured Demon over an AM frequency over 80 times. 80 times. I had to cut him out so many times just to be able to share the screams and all that shit that we caught. So it's different. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the same type of energy that was flowing. It's crazy. And I'll go on to say that it was ignorant of me to not pay attention to what was going on with that mirror prior to constructing it and picking up the energy. I've just been so busy. I was busy then to really pay attention to what was going on with the energy in my home. So that was totally my fault. It wasn't the fact that because I've had demonic objects in my home. You know what I mean? Many times. I still do. I have stuff that's tied to some stuff that people don't even want to look at, you know what I mean? And it's different though when shit like that, because you can be afraid, you just can't succumb to the fear. And I'll tell you, I wasn't familiar with that energy. It scared the shit out of me, and it gained control in that very moment. And I failed, you know what I mean? But I constructed that doorway, I gave it life, more life than what it ever imagined it could do within 4 hours, because it was full body, bro. I don't see full body. I'm medium and sensitive, and I don't I don't flaunt it. I don't walk around in every video. I don't say, hey, I'm psychic. Yeah, I've had psychic moments, but I think everybody has experienced deja vu and all that shit. It's just the subconscious. It's just the subconscious leaking through. Tesla was right. To me, in my opinion, the thought alone. There are times when. Just for instance, the other day I told you Terry was getting out of the car and she said something. And I'm like, wait, what did you say? And she's like, I didn't say anything. Well, it was her voice, because I hear that shit all the time. Yeah. And I was like, well, what were you about to say? And she's like, do you want something to drink? And what I know I heard was, what do you want to drink? Wow. Or what do you want? What do you want is what I heard. And I freaked the fuck out. I pulled over. She's in the gas. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, all those times where I thought, spiritual energy was mimicking you. Well, maybe it was just your thought. Why wouldn't it be possible for our thought, just like the consciousness that we're trying to communicate with, can't come through as an EVP, can't be heard as an audible EVP, can't be your consciousness saying something that I'm a firm believer, man, and all that shit, and I think that that eventually, because religions all across the world have been trying to explain and define the same demon, the same thing over and over and over again. Those prophets, those messiahs, those all those people were people like us. They just didn't have the equipment. They're like, oh, God, look at this guy. He just came. He was just speaking to a spirit, and he's relaying a message. That's all we are. I'm not saying I'm a prophet. I am far from that. You know what I mean? But I just feel like that we're filling the gap between religion and science, because they were, in many ways, they were right. They were trying to describe what me 1,000 years ago was, or you without, you know what I mean? Like, these were the same individuals that were hearing voices. We're seeing shit out of the corners of their eyes. We're trying to understand it, So, it's all about control, and understanding the consciousness and the frequencies that it flows on. You know what I mean? And how to tie those in and bind those frequencies to objects. It's all, it's just focused thought, bro. It's all, thoughts and prayers when somebody's sick, and, even just that placebo effect. I'm not saying that power of suggestion doesn't enhance them on the other side of it. What if it isn't the mirror? What if it's them? You know what I mean? What if they are the doorway? They just were told that it's going to work. It works. There's my name. There's things that are associated to me. I don't know, but I'm telling you, they do work. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many. I think about it all the time. I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why? But they do. It's crazy.
Yeah, it goes very deep, and it gets mind blown when you start really thinking about all that, especially going into the, like you were saying, how even your thoughts could influence the sessions, could influence. Like, I've always thought too, like, what if you ask, like, can you make a sound for me? Or, you ask the spirit to make a sound, and then you hear a sound. Like, is that a spirit, or is that your mind making that sound somewhere? I mean, I don't know.
Right, man. It hurts my head thinking about it, because, I mean, this is what I do. I am 100% involved. This is my life. This is where I'm taking my life. I'm going to work a paranormal job, and I'm going to have a paranormal group. I don't give a shit what anybody does. I see people building stuff and then talking shit about people that don't build stuff. Everybody's doing it, just in a different way. We're all in the same boat, different paddles. You know what I mean? Like, Stop hating on people. But I'm in this for the long run, bro. Whether I'm making mirrors or I'm, scheduling private investigations at this location that you're going to be coming up soon to check out, and a couple other people in the chat room, I think, that I discussed it with. But yeah, man, the future is bright for me. me and my group, my family, my friends, we're all headstrong, man. We're all doing great. You included, you're not my friend, you're family. You know that, I love you. You're my brother. I've you and Trevor, he's been, you guys have been there since day one. You know what I mean? I was looking up to you guys and learning from you, watching your guys' videos and just communicating and building bonds and you stopping up here. We were all like just infants in the paranormal community then, remember? And now look at us. All we did was not change. If I would have known years ago that all it would have took was for me to just be myself. I mean, I was always myself. I just didn't go the routes that my mind and the thoughts wanted to take me. All I had to do was just let it settle down and just go, man, because you're breaking those records at reaching those goals, and that's the thing, man. All the energy I have is so positive right now, and I just haven't had the time to build another mirror, although I want to build a mirror on the table that I've been using. It's round. Like, I see shit that like I said, I would have laughed at years ago. Like, yeah, right. The hell's that dude building that shit for? I know that ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? What's that dude walking around with a radio? Yeah, it's retarded. You know what I mean? But it's honestly not. It's changed me for the better. I'm a better person because of the people I've met. The people that helped me. I would be nowhere without you, without the friends, the networking. It's honestly, it's a godsend. I don't know where I would be without who I am and who I'm with now. What I do.
Yeah, well, I think it's a beautiful thing. We got some questions here from the chat. Cheryl wants to know, do you have a technician that works with you to bring spirits through, like when she uses her radio? Are you familiar with the technicians and the some people call them the operators?
Well, yeah, like spirit guides and stuff like that. No, I've never. I don't look at things the same way. People are like, "How do you protect yourself?" Well, I just know that I'm protected. I mean, technically, shouldn't that be good enough? And I've never, ever since. I made the mistake as a novice investigator, just somebody thinking they know what they do, and would always say, yeah, you can use my energy to communicate. I had no idea. I do everything by myself. I learn from mistakes. I do everything hands-on. I don't ask for help unless I'm like bleeding, crawling, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do it, so like I do everything myself. And I made the mistake once of suggesting that, yeah, you can use my energy and my family, and I paid the price for about 4 months. And I don't do that anymore. In my environments that I'm familiar with, the energy around me knows. I do not. Well, nobody really does. From my own experience and in my own opinion, I believe anybody can do the same thing. I believe that we're all made up of the same energy. There's no reason why we can't pick up a phone and connect to it. None at all. I don't believe that spirit guides will actually. There's no difference between you having a mirror without one, to me, or having one with one, because that doorway is open and there's no control. It's just like having another person like Terry behind the mirror. As an example, that's all. To me, I've never seen myself as needing one. And I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, but I'm not spiritual in the sense that everybody else is, like Wiccan. I don't search and define or classify myself like that, because I'll use Christian or Catholic prayer. I will use Wiccan prayer. I will use whatever anything that helps heal the energy, because they're all doing the same shit. They're all doing the same thing, and that's healing the environment. Putting, it's doing that for you. So, I mean, religion or faith, but I have belief. I believe that a lot of them work, but I'll tell you, it's not. It's all the same to me. And I do not need. Not saying I don't. Not saying that that I don't use one, because maybe I am. I don't know, but I'll tell you, I don't think there's one. But yeah, who knows? I could be way off. I don't know. Just from speaking from what they tell me, because people are always like, spirits lie, they do this, they do that, but I mean, so do people. You got to take it for what it's worth, and how you interpret it. Because we're trying to understand a world that they live, and how am I going to tell somebody that's doing a ghost box session or a seance on a board or whatever that what they're hearing is a lie? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's just. It's so deep, man. We could go down a rabbit hole for hours. It's crazy, man. But I've thought about it, man. I've thought about it all. No, I do not have. I don't think I do at all. I don't get the same voice. I don't get the same. There's not one. It's different every time.
Yeah. There's been a few like with 7, we get 7 a lot, but different voices almost every time. So I'm not sure what the deal with that is, if it's the same thing or not. But I also have a similar system of my spirituality of kind of using different prayers and spells and things, kind of in a some people describe it as like a chaos magic, taking all these different things and putting it into your own sort of spirituality. The next question is, do you think that people that have attachments or have conjured demons that hang out around them contaminate haunted sites? Or like, I guess if you went to a haunted site, do you think that you could bring some of those with you and that they could affect the investigation? Or
Well, yeah, of course. Like, there's not... there's no boundaries on what an attachment can do, especially if you don't even know they're there. But there are ways to eliminate that I've figured out over time, especially in a new location. For instance, just like the energy that I'm in at my home, somebody else is not familiar with it, it's going to be total chaos. They're going to have the best ghost box session they ever had in their life, experience things they've never experienced. And me and Terry and the kids, we aren't experiencing shit. You know what I mean? But it's totally different. Like when, for instance, the Bel Air house. I believe that somebody that has attachments or even can pick up on energy. It's always good to go to a different location you've never been, because you have no idea how that energy is going to react with yours. Yeah. It's pure, clean, spiritual energy. Now, if you're there for 5 days or you live there or whatever, you have a better chance of seeing that, yeah, this is an attachment. These are spirits that have been around me all the time. But there's difference in conversation, especially if you're an investigator and you're editing your own shit, or you're being shown what's being picked up. Yes, of course, I've done it. There's spirits that come with me to a location from my home, or vice versa. I've had friends come here but that's definitely possible. But, it all depends on the person's energy too, like being able to control that. And there are times when, I know for a fact that I'm carrying along something, it's a cloudy day when it's sunny all the time, and I'll have to go prepare myself and we'll go sit outside and burn 4 different types of sage and just enjoy the sunshine, and we feel better. I got crystals, I do all the shit that I just don't voice it. You know what I mean? I'm not a producer or a director. I get straight to the bottom line. I'm not going to show you me walking around for hours. I'm going to show you 5 minutes of some of the best spiritual communication you'll ever see in your life. Not saying it is the best. But I'll tell you, it's worthy of knowledge, you know what I mean? And I try to pinpoint it and give it to everybody, because I don't want to just learn from what I got, you know what I mean? I want everybody to hear it, not just listen to it. I want them to hear what's being said, some of the most mind-blowing shit. Like I did two Tesla sessions, man. And I asked what oh shit, can't even think. So he built AC and what is it? Well, anyways, he came through and said AC without even asking the question vocally. We were using cards, the same cards. We were doing it every 30 seconds. We'd ask a different question. We tried to keep in threes, and dude, it was amazing. You know what I mean? To pinpoint and get those exact details. You know what I mean? That only Tesla. I mean, not saying a spirit around couldn't pick up on it, but there are things that I asked that I don't even know that Terry wrote down. You know, things that we just made sure that Tesla himself would come through and kind of validate for us. And that was early on. You know, I was just trying to experiment. You know, I did things like Huff does. You know, I have communicated with celebrities. We've kind of steered off from that. We've worked missing cases. Mm-hmm. But we use mirrors in every single session. I didn't understand how valuable they were to us until all of this and everybody started. I'm like, you know, I knew that our other mirror was badass and it's priceless and we'll never get rid of it. We haven't even used it since the Monroe house, actually. It's been locked up since. But, you know, those are the things that tie you down in the paranormal, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Real quick, I wanted to tell about my dream that I had the other night, and then I got one more question from the chat, and then we'll start wrapping the show up. But so, guys, the other night, it was it was either the day after the mirror got here, or maybe 2 days after. I had this dream that one of my cats got like seriously mutilated, and her legs were like all over the ground, and there was blood everywhere. And I haven't really had a dream like that in a long time, so I'm not sure if it was connected to the mirror or not. But I wanted to share that with you guys because it was just for documentation purposes and to see if anything else happens with these dreams when the mirror is uncovered.
What I would like to do is make sure that, you know, I would love to do a session soon. We both had some stuff going on prior to the show that kind of affected what we had plans on doing after the show. Yeah. But everybody in the chat room, you know, maybe on YouTube or something, we'll link up and we'll show even a pre-recorded one. We could just chime in, like, you know, and go over the evidence with people just to show them what happens and the bridge that's made when those mirrors and where, you know, that mirror is, where you want that mirror's energy to be focused. It's insane how accurate it is. So it's going to be, it's awesome. You know, I want to throw in a couple things real quick about next year. I think I'm seeing a lot of shit going on with people and good stuff, good positive stuff going on in the community about, you know, things are going to get exciting. Well, it's going to get exciting for us. You know, there's things that I can't even talk about. But there are things that I can. I'm working with a couple individuals right now. They're good friends, some in the music industry. We're opening up a slaughterhouse. It's an actual haunted attraction, but prior to that, it was a slaughterhouse. Millions of animals have passed away there. That's where that Ouija board mirror was, and we did a seance. And I've been posting tiny clips, but I've held back. There's so much evidence that it's insane. But I'm thinking the last 2 weeks of January, maybe to the first 2 weeks of February, we'll be ready to go to bring experienced investigators in. We're not just going to let any individual think that they can, you know, I know pretty much everybody that's in the chat room and what they do, and, you know, that's awesome. You know, those are people that I can trust and keep going there. But it's going to be an exclusive, you know, we're not worried about the money. That's not it. We're worried about who's going to be there, the energy that's going to be taking from, you know what I mean? It's it's going to be a paranormal playland. It's crazier than Edwin Shaw Hospital. It's got every haunt, the most residual energy I've ever been in, like pig grunts, crazy shit. And that's where the demonic entity Balak came through, or from what I understand and how the energy it's explained attached itself to the mirror. And there was a murder there. It's right on Native American land, and I will have some more information about that location within the next within the next week. I would think. So I just want everybody to know that, you know, if you're on the East Coast and you guys are, I already had you comment. I have Gateway Paranormal comment. I have lots of people I've been talking to just to get in there and just to experience it, and but you'll see, you'll be up here soon to catch it. But you guys, check out our page, Paranormal Den, on Facebook, facebook.com/Paranormal Den, youtube.com/C/Paranormal Den. But we're on it. We are dedicated to working, and I think collaborations are awesome. I think that's the only way that we make it as paranormal investigators, as students, learning from the other side. You know, all of our differences is what helps us take strides and gain knowledge. You know, so I'm looking forward to everybody that we meet this year.
Yeah.
All the cool things that we can offer each other, and that's the big key, you know, because the more you stay away from being the paranormal community is not united, the people that aren't saying shit, the people that aren't hating, are the ones behind the scenes actually uniting, shaking hands, saying what's up, let's be family. That's the shit that I want. That's the shit that I'm going to get, because that's all I'm focused on. So I appreciate everybody listening tonight. I know I enjoy talking everybody's heads off. But I mean, you guys are awesome. There's not anything that I couldn't have done myself without every single one of you guys. It's not about me, it's about us. And that's where I'm focused. And I wish everybody the best in 2019, because it's been a rock.
Thank you, man. That's awesome. That's one reason why I do this show, you know, is to give people like you and anyone else who comes on the show a chance to tell us their experiences, their knowledge, and just a place where they can literally just tell us everything they want to tell us. And I think you definitely covered a lot of awesome ideas and told us some really cool experiences and stories. I had one more question, if that's okay, from Leslie. Let's see, one sec.
Yeah, go for it, man.
She wanted to know, how do you? Hold on one sec. How do you make a black mirror?
I always, just like sessions and stuff, like there are times, like especially like with Manson or prior to going to Jeffrey Dahmer's property, you know, I kind of work myself up and you know, I'm a believer. So I'm dead set that I already know, you know, I don't go into, any session or anything anymore without already knowing that I'm going to pick up on their energy. Because if I have one doubt, that leaves error. For not saying there isn't any error in it, but I feel like there is. So prior to making a mirror, it's kind of like the same thing. You know, I know that I'm building a doorway, and I just go at it. You know, I'll say, yeah, I'm going to build this mirror. It's going to look like this. It never looks in any resemblance to what I wanted it to at all, ever. But they're even more beautiful after I'm done. You know, sometimes I'll take 4 hours just on the paint jobs, and I'll look at it and you know, it's never right. It's never, oh, now it's right. It's good. It's beautiful. But there are things that I can't control, you know, like the energy in my home. Everything that is around, as soon as it's sealed, I don't know what happens, you know, at all. You know, I I don't know. Maybe someday I will, maybe we will, but at that moment, something happens, because it's that the emotions that I'm going through. Maybe I had a bad day at work and I'm angry about something, but that anger, whether even if it's just daydreaming about something evil, that can just, I feel like it can just imprint itself just as the conscious memory or the conscious dream, because that's what it is, whether it's a memory or it's you thinking or making stuff up. That's all conscious energy, and all that conscious energy can go into that mirror. So it could be my subconscious, something that I have no control over whatsoever, just seeping out, and attaching itself. It could be somebody just walking by the mirror that has a stronger connection to the energy than I do, that can manipulate it, or a kid. It really, I don't know exactly, it's just, I take a regular picture frame and turn it into a black mirror. I'll take antique glass, or I'll take an old mirror and just wrap tent around it. I don't know what happens. I just put it together, and I'll spray paint the frames and do my thing on the mirror. But as soon as it's sealed, bro, I don't know, what exactly it is that I am doing, but it is happening. And by the way, I do have, I haven't made any mirrors for the last, I don't know, 2-3 weeks. I still have 4 or 5, and I'm still in the whole. So if anybody wants any pricing, wants to discuss the energy that I feel coming from them, or is even local and wants to experience it for themselves, I don't have any issues with letting them do that shit. You know what I mean? Drive and see me, because when I open up this slaughterhouse and get everybody in there and get everybody experiencing that shit, you're going to see the mirror that has the Ouija board. That's where it's at. You're gonna experience some of the things that we do in my home. So the experience will be there for everybody. It's just up to them on whether or not they want to do it. And I do have a couple left, and I'll share those on Dark Scrys. I just haven't had a lot of time to get that out there, but I have a lot. I have five mirrors right now, and I don't know if I'm going to be making any more for a little while, but they're all badass. I mean, I love them all. I don't want to get rid of none. Terry's like, dude, stop making them, because we're going to keep them. You know what I mean? So I have to get rid of them, and
I understand.
They were originally made for group support, like selling t-shirts and stuff like that to help us out and do what people want to see us do, because we can't do that shit without money. You know what I mean? Because I hate people that are like, oh, you're out doing events and you're making loot. Well, how the hell do you think I got here? Because I did one, you know what I mean? So I agree. Yeah, but yeah, hey, I appreciate you having me come on, bro, and being able to tell a little bit of the story. It's deeper than 1 hour could ever grace me with, man. But it's awesome to be able to share it, and for people to feel the energy themselves and tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, I got one final question, because it's a good question, from Olwen, if that's okay. And then we'll wrap it up. She wanted to know, does the third eye play with the mirror? So, I guess she's asking, do you think the third eye and your third eye abilities can have effects with the mirror? Well, yeah.
Okay, this gets back to me being, not voicing that, I've had psychic experiences, but I know I'm not psychic. But, yeah, I do know that I can channel energy a lot different than most people. Medium's just what people call it. I don't even know if that's it, because it's a little mixture of all of them, actually, a lot, actually, sometimes. But to me, the subconscious is that orb, that true orb that people see floating around. That's your aura. That's that ball of energy we feel that we can't see when you know that a little boy just ran by. So my subconsciousness is the third eye, and absolutely, it just stems back from the emotions, and not just my emotions, but the emotions that I'm channeling, because there are times when I know for a fact I was just being used to communicate, and it freaks me the fuck out because I don't know when it's going to happen. I have no control over it. It's not like I'm picking up a knife and I can just tell, you know what I mean? Like it's weird, you know. It's just I can just tell it's not me. I'll zone out for a second and I'll feel like I was doing something that wasn't me, you know what I mean? But yeah, absolutely, the subconscious to me is the key to it all. And it just sucks that we don't understand it fully.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe one day we will. But thanks again for coming on, man, and telling us all this. And like you said, though, I know we could have gone on for a whole nother hour because there's more experiences and everything we could have talked about. But we can always do another show.
Pleasure.
Wait, what?
I said it was my pleasure.
Oh, well, thank you so much. And we can always do another show in the future. I know more things will be happening that we will need to talk about. And like you said, we should do either a video or live stream soon and do some sessions with the mirror. So,
yes, of course, man. Thank you guys all for listening and the questions, and I appreciate your guys' support, because I would be nowhere, my group would be nowhere, my family would be nowhere without any of you guys. So thank you guys so much. I there's nothing I wouldn't do for any of you guys that support us. So pay attention. I'll be throwing some shit out there soon that everybody that enjoys what we do will enjoy.
Awesome, man. Well, if you got one in you, could you give us a little wolf howl?
Oh!
Thank you, man. Awesome.
Sorry, I was distant from the phone. Yeah?
No, that was great. Well, thank you, man. Have a great night, and we'll talk soon.
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Peace out.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, guys. That was Jason Emerick, Paranormal Den, and Dark Scrys. Definitely check out his stuff. I put the links in the description of this show. But if you search for Paranormal Den on Facebook or YouTube, or if you search for Dark Scrys on Facebook, you can find all of his stuff. Super nice guy, and a great friend, and a great guy to talk to. Definitely love him and Terry, and they've got some amazing videos. One of my favorites is the one, I think it's Jeffrey Dahmer's house, where they went to the backyard where his first victim bones were scattered, and some of the stuff they got there was amazing. So I hope everybody has a happy new year coming up here in a couple days. I think we're going to have a show on the 2nd, and I've got some cool guests that I'm going to be lining up for 2019, and we're going to keep this going as always. So it's going to be great to see everything that's coming in the future. And yeah, excited to, I think one of our next guests did some work on the Small Town Monsters. I think he directed it, actually, if I'm correct, on the In Search of Champ. So definitely be on the lookout for any updates on my Facebook or on YouTube. I usually post them on both of those places. Be on the lookout for any live streams. I will be doing more live streams coming up, and more Bigfoot Bob videos and everything. The other night we had a super intense session with the mirror and with Tim's drawing, and I also had JP's painting. All three of those objects have those imprints in them, like Jason was talking about, where people were feeling a certain type of way or had something on their mind, and they imprinted it into these paintings and these mirrors and these drawings. Very interesting stuff to think about. Definitely want to continue with the experiments, and we're going to have a lot of cool stuff coming up. And then also me and Jason will do a live stream soon as well, and I think that'll be truly amazing to see. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Huge shout out to Jason Emerick of Paranormal Den and Dark Scrys for coming on the show. We had an awesome chat room tonight, lots of great questions, and the chat was just blowing up. So thank you guys so much. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas, holidays, everything like that. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Let's shoot for the second on the Spreaker. All right, guys, be sure to smash that little heart. Always remember you can listen to this episode or any of the past episodes and even download them, listen to them in your car. You can do any of that from the Spreaker. All the shows are up on the Spectral Wolfpack Show page. And yeah, I will see you guys next Wednesday and possibly on a YouTube live stream before then. So I'm going to go drink some flu medicine and go to sleep because I don't feel good. But I love you guys, and that's it. I think that's it. All right.